They're going to go boom. So they're going to go boom, boom, boom. Yeah, if you make this 70% of the time, you're professional. Give him a hand, Austin. Look at this. Look at this shot. Hello. Who else wants to make this shot?
Okay, welcome back everyone. A warm welcome to Massey Hamilton. We've got a game coming up, Liston College versus St. John's College. One from Hamilton and one from Auckland. The Auckland I don't know very much about, but the Hamilton guys, a fairly new side, both new sides. So this is not the cream of the crop, but still a couple of players in Liston College only been playing for like about 3 or 4 weeks. Well, they've had 3 or 4 sessions. As for the St. John boys, not too bad a side, the St. John side. So I think these teams are on the losers' side. And we are waiting for the main draw on the main side until the losers catch up. So let's see how we go. Next to me we've got the main guy, Logan Walsh, who's been organising everything, the school's football. He's the man that does everything. And he's right next to me, Mr. Logan Walsh.
Hey guys, welcome to the stream. This is Liston College from Auckland against one of our local teams, St. John's College. Actually, I'm an old boy of St. John's, so it's kind of cool to see the St. John's boys come in. We spend a lot of time coaching these boys in here on Fridays. These boys get coaching at least once a week. Josh Stokes is one of a twin. His twin brother is in the St. John's Blue team, the top St. John's team. So Josh and his twin brother Cam have been playing for probably about a year now. They grew up in Malaysia largely, actually, and they've recently moved back to New Zealand. I think they grew up here initially when they were younger, born in New Zealand, and I believe they moved over to Malaysia. So started playing a couple of years ago, and they are year 12 at school. So. Really good players actually, especially Cam plays a bit more seriously than Josh, but Josh is really starting to take off now, which is always really good to see. But the funny thing about these two boys is their dad is the manager of the Sacred Heart girls team. So during the regionals, he was a little bit conflicted, and he said he was going for the Sacred Heart girls instead of his own sons in the St. John's team. So no, really good event. I mean, tomorrow's going to be the big day with probably the most amazing trophy and maybe all secondary school sports. If you guys haven't seen that, go onto the Facebook page and check out the photos of the trophy. I mean, I think they use the same trophy at the ASB Classic tennis event, the professional tennis event in January. So it's a pretty spectacular trophy. But I'll pass it back to Jimmy. Enjoy the stream, guys, and I better get back to organising the event.
Yeah, thank you, Logan. Well done with the organisation of this event. So yeah, we've got Josh at the table. Like Logan says, he's just a casual sort of player at the moment, but he's starting to enjoy it. He's starting to pot some balls, and he's here every Friday. That's a good thing about him. He always turns up to practice. Young fellow at the table now. He comes from Liston College. Scratchy sort of shot there by make both balls on. It's going to be in no man's land after this shot. Yeah, he didn't have a shot on. Oh, maybe a 9 off the 4 there, but Josh Stokes back to the table. Take the 4 and go into the 8, and should have went into that hard and opened it up a bit. Anyhow, these guys, like I say, these guys only been playing it for a couple of years. Later on, we got a show, Dave Pearson and Tom Rosman, all the way from America, both of them, both professionals at what they do. One's a speed pool world champion, the other's a trick shot master, Hall of Famer, BCA Hall of Famer, Tom Rosman. Okay, how's he going to get to the 11 ball? He's on the wrong side. Can he cut that in? I think that's his only option. Unless he wants to double it back or double it. Oh, he's going safe. Plus he's put his ball in a bad position, the 11 ball. Josh Stokes from St. John's, Hamilton. Okay, that's the worst position. You'd want to leave the white ball because the 11 might go past that 8 ball, but I don't think so. Looking for another safety probably. Try to make it go past the... A couple of these players a little bit nervous. Nice shot. Okay, he's placed the patch. You must place the patch, otherwise you could lose the game. And that's the patch, the pocket the 8 ball's going in, with where the patch is. Pass the scoreboard over. Pass it here, pass it, grab it. Egan Van Thiel against Conrad. I'll just find out his surname. Okay, Egan from St. John's, another player that sort of only new to the sport, but you can see he's got the passion and the love for the game. Okay, so take a look at this Liston College team, folks. Watch them next year. Okay, because I'm going to spend a lot of time with these, hopefully these two guys. And they're going to come back bigger, better and stronger. Nice shot by Egan, a kick shot. Book, can you hear me all right out there? Or David? Testing. Okay, back to the game. He hasn't got a ball after this. Okay, Conrad Ang, A-N-G. Sort of new to the game, only had a couple of sessions with these young guys. But I said it's not about today, next year. We'll see how good they are.
I had like not half of them on the book. Hopefully I'm speed up next time, 26 seconds, man.
Is that how much he's done it?
I'd love to see that.
Okay, you can go and play the one off the 14 maybe. Sneak it in there, I think. Nice shot. Oh. Very unlucky. Okay, so like I said, folks, take a look at this boy here. Okay, he's only been playing a couple of weeks. Well, I've only had 2 sessions with this guy here, but watch him next year. I told them when I brought them down this year they're going to come and learn. Next year they're going to come and hopefully be in the finals. So as long as they stick with the game. My mate Logan's back. He'll have a bit more to say because these are a couple of his students here.
Yeah, welcome. Sorry, guys. Just been pretty busy with running everything today, so haven't had too much of a chance to commentate. Tomorrow's the big day, so everyone's kind of trying to find and bid their place now. Sorry, excuse me. For a place tomorrow. I mean, the teams that are coming back tomorrow in the main draw are going to be it's going to be pretty impressive. So just waiting now for those teams to come through. We have St John's College here. Egan, the one you see playing there from St John's in the blue, is sorry guys, they've lost their 8-ball disc. So these boys, Egan here, who's playing on this table, is you may have seen a video of him jumping on the Facebook page recently. So he's found a new lease on life and he's learned to jump. So he's pretty motivated player at the moment, but he's coming a long way. He's been spending a lot of time with Jimmy, to be honest. So Jimmy's practice is really starting to take off a little bit with Egan. So it's really good. And Ginger Wizard spent some time with Egan too.
Yeah, Egan's got the love of the game. He is very passionate about the game. He's here every week. He loves the game. So he puts the hard time in, and it's just a matter of time. One day it'll all just click. They got to just stick with it. And it will come to them. As for Conrad Ang, very new to the game, but watch him next year. He's going to be 10 times better player than what he is now. Okay, Egan, let's see how you do it. That's pretty good. Might be better if he took the 3 and played into the open here. Hasn't left himself much angle, but he's going to take the 3 on. Could have got better position, but he will learn that later on. Okay, so Conrad here should just touch the 11 ball, I think it is. So this format is 10 points for a win. And if you're the loser, whatever balls you pot is what you will get. So if Egan potted the 3 ball and the 8 ball, he would get 10 points. And the opponent would have 3 points because he's potted 3 balls. It's a team event. What a great shot there by Egan. Yeah, great finish by Egan. And another player that's only been playing a few, well, not even a year yet. But he's got the passion and the love of the game, and he will make it. He'll go a long way.
Yeah, St John's comes back with a big win there. It's a 10-3 win for Egan, so he gets it a lot closer. 10-3, so 28-26. It's very tight here. We're about halfway through now. Just over a third of the way through here. So St John's, good win there by Egan to come back, putting the pressure back on Liston, who were first few matches they ran away with it. So it's not just winning, is it, Jimmy? I mean, we see that more in the Vegas with the adults. It's more about when you get to a certain level, it's about the big wins. So it's the 10-0s and the 10-1s and being able to run out that make all the difference, you know. You can actually win. St. John's could beat Liston if they won less matches, if they had more 10-0s and 10-1s. So it's not just who wins, it's how much they win by. So each ball is very important in this format.
Yeah, the worst thing you can get is a 10-0, because that really puts you behind the 8 ball, but... Okay, and at 7:30 tonight, we're going to have a big show here tonight. If you're keen to come down and watch in Hamilton, we're going to have the Ginger Wizard doing some trick shots and maybe some speed pool challenges, and Dave Pearson, Tom Rosman. The Ginger Wizard is Dave Pearson, and Tom Rosman is the BCA Hall of Famer, known for his magical trick shots. Unbelievable what he can do. But he'll be here at 7:30 if you want to bring your kids along. A free show. Okay, Sheridan back at the table now. Sheridan's only been playing for a couple of years and he's not too bad. I think another year or so he'll be pretty good, pretty hard to beat. He knows a lot of the shots, but he doesn't yet know the right patterns and nudges and things like that, how you break into balls, but he will learn it. Won't be long before he's starting to show up in some of the senior finals. We've got Marco Tusha down at the club at the moment. Anybody want to come and challenge him?
Look at this, Honey with his ref glove. Look at that.
Yeah, Horny on the TV there, watching for the push shot. I don't know what he needs the gloves for. What does he need those gloves for? No, they're to clean the white ball. I think you can hear us. Ask me. It's like a doctor. Dr. Horny. Now we got Dr. Q and the Ginger Wizard here. Today helping out the kids with the speed ball games, lag games. There's heaps going on down at the club. Good work on here.
Yeah, if you guys are around and not working today, or you just want to take the Friday afternoon off, definitely come down to the club at Hamilton. Everything's going on. We've got a speed pool competition. Marco is going against the kids in the speed pool, and they're having challenge games, and they've got Ginger Wizard and Tom, Dr. Q. Here we go, Egan with the jump shot. Wonder if he makes this. I'll see if Ginger Wizard can teach him. Ginger Wizard taught him last week. Let's see how much it pays off. Can he do it, Eags, when it counts? Oh, what a hit by Egan. That's awesome. I mean, it's a great hit. It's tough not to pot it, but, I mean, that just shows. He learned how to... It's been about a week since Egan knew how to jump. And it's awesome he gets to use it in a match. So before that, he would have to kick at it, and I wouldn't have backed him. Oh, well, he's run out of position here. Jimmy's going to have that big on the rail there, but that's pretty close to the centre pocket, so it might be a little bit awkward here for Sheridan.
Yeah, he'll just run down the back there, I think, try and kick the 11 in. It's his only shot, maybe. No, the 9 looks like it's on. If you can pot this 9 and stay on the 15. Straight shot between the 7 and 8. Oh, it was on a mile too. Nearly pots a black while he plays that shot. As for Egan's jump shot, yeah, great jump shot. He's been practicing all day to pull one of those off. He loves that jump cue now. Sheridan using the ignite cue, well, the shaft. I don't know what sort of butt that is. we've got a pretty close match on the other table. We have Marco Podajak. Okay, and he's trying to put some balls there, get some points. Okay, the key here in this team format is to make sure you don't get beaten by 10-0. Really costly. Okay, that one off that, yeah, one off the black ball Egan. Starting to see patterns. Oh, close. Okay, but he's opened up the table for Sheridan to finish off here. Nice shot by Sheridan. He's up the top of the table. 9 ball. He wants to try and run off these two rails here. Bottom, no, he's playing straight forward. And see, he ends up down the end of the table. Instead of playing off the two rails coming into the centre. It's got to be somewhere around. That's a great shot by Sheridan. Good recovery shot. Where's that black going? Is he going to hold the white ball? He does. It's gone a little bit too far. Bottom right corner here. Okay, he's got to mark his pocket where the black's going. Should be the bottom right, but might like the blind cut. He likes the blind cut. A little bit more difficult shot here, but he's played it perfectly. Okay, that's a 10-4 score to Liston College. $38-30. And on the other table, close game there. How did she break her arm?
She was with her dad
Yeah.
last weekend in somewhere in Auckland.
Oh,
She come down and boom. To who? Liston? Just like
Left it.
she did on Saturday, yeah, and then she came back on Sunday. And then so we took her and then
Okay, a close match here. Liston College 43, St. John's at 36. So St. John's needs to win at least 2 of these matches to stay in the match.
It's not good enough, Flynn. Second's not good enough for anything. You can't get a free kick with second. He needs third.
oh, did you find it? Who was it? Where?
Okay, Josh Stokes versus Conrad Ang. I should have played on this table. These two.
Put out order for health features tonight. Putting up features coming in. Right, 30, 25 health features.
Okay, these two teams are on the losers' side, so whoever loses is out, but we are going to have a plate round for them. Okay, for all the teams that have 2 losses. Close match, 43-36.
Yeah, I just realised though that Sheridan, probably the number 1 player in Liston, he's actually played all of his matches. So even though Liston are ahead, it's probably a little bit deceiving. Sheridan doesn't like going in order. That's all good though. 43-36 at the moment. Bit of an awkward little clearance, this one, isn't it, Jimmy? All those balls clustered here. Smalls are onto the one side and bigs are onto the other. I mean, I'd rather be on bigs here just because they're probably a bit more in the open. You can shoot the 15 and probably just hold there for the 11. Maybe roll through it a little bit. And he's had a little touch hard. He might be okay. It might not be, though. Let's have a closer look. No, he's not okay. He could maybe come off the... Oh, I don't know, Jim. I don't know. He's got not many options here.
Yeah, he's got no shot here, so it's better just, like I say, touch the 11, sitting behind the 11, but he just wants to hit a ball and move it out. And like a lot of these kids here can either take off with, with their pool career, or just carry on and be, the sort of social sort of player, and the player that just wants to meet friends. And count how many balls he's got. Did you?
What was the score?
10-1. Yeah, 10-1.
10-1 to who? To St. John's.
Oh, that makes it a big difference. Brings them right back into the game. Okay, so it's all on this last game. Yeah. Okay, so in this last game is all on the line for both teams. So what do we need here, Logan? We need one team to win by 6 balls. One team needs to get 10, and the other team needs to get at least St. John's needs 6 balls. 10, 44, 8. Oh, is there? There's 2 more games. I thought these were the last ones. Okay, so we've got 2 more games. So this is not the last game. Yeah, like I said, these players are either going to kick off their career here today. They see it all, and then they want to train and practice hard to get up to these other players that are pretty good, or they're just going to be the social player that just comes in here, meets friends, has a muck around, and doesn't really want to go any further with the game. But I'm picking a lot of them will go forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite hard being a teenager. I mean, a lot of sports, you see, I came from a tennis background, and a lot of people get distractions. I think it's probably more so a problem for guys, get distracted by girls. At least that's what the case was in tennis. So, I mean, that's probably the biggest threat to these boys is, I mean, when you change a lot as teenagers, as a personality, and as I said, those distractions. So it's all about the ones who can keep focused while still enjoying growing up, so to speak. So, I mean, it's really hard to see who is going to go through. I mean, you've got your juniors in the boys' high team. You've got Jack Ellis and you've got Kieran Dempsey. They're the number 1 seed team, and you've got obviously some of those girls. But the best players may be the ones that are most prone to getting caught in those distractions. So, even though they're 14, 15, you can see who the better players are. I mean, that's probably not necessarily a clear indication of who's going to be the best in 4 or 5 years. These guys are going to get to a point where they start playing in the adult tournaments, and I mean, and maybe somebody who no one's talking about right now that is our best product from the juniors. We have a lot of good juniors like Alan Bain. He was one of the top juniors in New Zealand. I mean, he's obviously gone on to be one of the top players as an adult, but I mean, there's a lot of those players that used to be the top juniors age of me. I mean, Joseph Tialado is another one, definitely one of the top juniors, but I mean, Leighton Paloga, I mean, David Lehu is another one. I mean, definitely those guys can still play, but I mean, David, for example, David's had some kids now, and then Joseph's much more focused on work. The one tournament Joseph did play in managed to make the semi-final of one of our big adult tournaments. So, I mean, it's all about like who can balance that, who can keep playing through all the obstacles. Oh, missed 8 ball there. Oh, it's not 8, it's a 4. Sorry. Who can really just power on and keep improving their games like inch by inch. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything major, does it, Jimmy? I think just being able to get there, playing maybe just twice a week. You don't need to play that often, I don't think, Paul. Unless it's snooker, I feel like once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, good quality practice. It's probably fine as long as you're not going. The risk is playing too much, and burning out, and that's when you really look for an escape from pool. You don't really want to get to a point where you're trying to escape from pool. You want pool to be your escape from everything else. That's how I think of it, at least. So it's all about balancing, how many hours you're putting out there on the table. But
Yeah, you're right there, Logan. Exactly, hit it on the button. But I'd say a lot of these kids will kick on through. Gives me a challenge, so, as you see him play now, I say watch him next year.
I think it's going to be very interesting, Jimmy, to see how the juniors do progress over the next few years. The development squad's been pretty standard over the last few years, but I think people change most between about 15, 16, 17-year-olds. I mean, I'm not going to say names, but we've had a few juniors over the years who are really, really, really good players. A lot of them, probably about 4 or 5 people I'm thinking of right now, that were probably the best juniors in New Zealand or up there, and then they got distracted, and they've kind of pool wasn't their priority, and because of that they lost a lot of opportunities that they were doing before. So a big thing I think now for these juniors just to stay on the straight and narrow, keep behaving themselves, keep representing themselves with pride, and obviously the country when they get to go overseas. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how the development changes for this year, if it does change much. Or, and probably even further on than just this year. I think looking forward maybe to around about 2023, I think we'll start seeing a lot of fresh faces, and then it'll be interesting to see who the faces are that everyone's come to learn, and which juniors really take off in the adult section as well. I mean, obviously now the one junior everyone's talking about is Kieran Dempsey, because he's currently ranks 6th anywhere in the World Tour. I mean, that's 6th is, just to give you a perspective, I think Cootsy's 9th. Cootsy doesn't play as many tournaments as Kieran, but, I mean, it just shows that Kieran's not only playing a lot of tournaments, he's doing well, I mean, I've probably played every tournament there is to play, and I'm not ranked 6th, so it shows that that anywhere in the World Tour is a really good opportunity to reward participation for playing in the tournaments, but then it's a really good balance of rewarding those who go deep in those tournaments, and Kieran has had a few deep runs, not only in the weekly tournaments, but in I think it was the first 9-ball qualifier. No, it might have been the 8-ball nationals. I think he got 5th in the 8-ball nationals or something like that a few months ago, and he massively climbed the rankings. So he's obviously the junior that everyone's talking about. But in saying that, I don't want to add any pressure to Kieran. He's going to do his own thing. He's going to figure out his own thing. Whether that's staying with Paul or not, who knows? But we'll see how we go. But I mean, at the moment, I mean, like any of these St. John's boys here could easily come through. I mean, Egan is one of those boys who's been improving. Josh, and if you guys get the opportunity to watch Cameron, Josh's twin brother, later on the stream, I think he's definitely somebody who's got a lot of potential. He's been working really hard with Jimmy recently, and I mean, everyone's got to give Jimmy Henry a lot of credit too, because he's done a lot for the juniors, especially up in Auckland and Pukekohe and Hamilton, where he works with the juniors. A lot of the juniors are as good as they are today because of Jimmy, and largely including myself, to be honest. So the professor is the professor for a reason.
Thanks for that, Logan, mate. You make me feel really humble there.
What was it? To who? St. John's.
Close. Okay, folks. So for Liston College to win this, they need a 10-0 quietly. Okay, so if you've got nothing to do in Hamilton and you are in Hamilton, come down to the club. Watch two professional trick shot players, the world champion speed man or speed pool player, and also the US Open champion, 10-ball champion. He's also here if you want to come down and give him some games. If you want to talk to him and try and see what makes him tick or see what makes him one of the best players in New Zealand, come down and prick his brains. The Ginger Wizard and Dr. Keel will be down here later doing a show. 7:30 that starts. A free show if you want to watch them pot some balls in magical ways, not just straight potting.
Just a reminder, guys, no players at all in the tournament area. If you want to ask a question, please come to the front of the tournament area. No players at all.
You're talking about Alex.
And it's just like, it's too small as it is, you don't want people just cramping.
I mean, I take up a big space because I'm quite muscular, so it's just two muscular men in here. It's already
Trap it, you've got the traps to do, you know?
Thanks, Em. I'm glad
Traposaurus Rex, you know?
I can't actually hear you, mate.
So, but if they just play one game on that, yeah, Tens Warrior carries it.
So like I said, I've only spent be lucky to be an hour with Conrad, and he seems to be enjoying the game. I think he'll be back. But he better be back because there's going to be a few more Auckland teams coming down next year. Wow. Wow. Yeah, you guys lost. Yeah. Just close, but.
No, they were on the plate. They made the plate.
Where did Honey go to? Can you see Honey around?
If we lose this.
Yeah, I think so.
Honey, where's Honey? Where's he hiding? Why does it keep doing that, Honey? Sorry about that, folks. Our camera keeps shutting down on us. Okay, a chance for Conrad to win a game. How many did you win? How many did you win? Did you win a game? Wow, did you win a game, Conrad? Excellent.
You win that.
Oh,
You put it there out of turn.
oh. Okay, so that puts St. John's College. They live to see another day. Okay, just hang around, and I think we've got some winners come through. Okay, thanks for watching, and we will have the next game soon, within the next 10 minutes. But if you're around Hamilton, come down to the club. Plenty of things to do, plenty of people to talk to.
They're going to go boom. So they're going to go boom, boom, boom. Yeah, if you make this sentence within the time, you're professional. Give him a hand, Austin. Look at this. Look at this shot. Hello. Who else wants to make this shot?